If you are looking to recapture your youth and play Manic Miner again, or Jetpack, or whatever else used to float your boat, or just experience ZX Spectrum for the first time, one thing I would not recommend is doing what I'm going to try and do, and that is build a brand new Spectrum out of new bits. So when considering reasons not to do what I'm going to do, let's look at the number one thing, and that is cost. The cost to build this is a lot. And when I say a lot, I reckon it's going to be somewhere around £200. I've not priced it all up yet, but that's what I'm figuring on. Around £200 to build this, which is what, a little bit over $300. Now, even paying the scalping prices on eBay, you can still get a decent Spectrum for far less than that in fully working order, and it will be original, and if you buy well, it'll be in really good condition. And it'll probably last you for years to come. So it makes no financial sense to do this. The second thing is availability. Now, some of the parts inside the Spectrum have been out of production for a long time, but people have come along in the meantime, and you can buy brand new cases, albeit reproductions, keyboards, keyboard membranes, so on and so forth. But some bits are still really hard to come by. So as a word of warning, if you do want to have a go and be as stupid as me, then you need to make sure that you're not going to get halfway through the project and find things are completely unavailable. So my advice to you would be to make sure you can get your hands on everything. Start by sourcing all the rare stuff, and as long as you've got that covered, happy days. And I can hear you thinking, well, Simon, I don't know what's rare. You seem to know what you're talking about, but I don't know what's rare. Well, I will put a link in the video description of a bill of materials for everything that you need. And someone has very kindly put that together. And they've also marked up the stuff which is hard to come by. So have a look at that, check the link in the description, and that will give you a starter for 10. The third thing, of course, is if you do manage to find everything and get it all together, you're going to have to build it, which is going to require some basic soldering skills. Now, there's nothing really difficult about soldering the Spectrum, but it does take a bit of time. And my advice would be, if you haven't done any soldering in a while, is get yourself something to just practice with. You don't need anything flashy to do it. It's just a basic soldering iron and some other few bits and pieces. But what you don't want to do is get everything bought, get it all put together, and then find out the damn thing doesn't work. And the chances are, if it doesn't work, there'll have been a mistake somewhere in the assembly. So the other thing is you need some idea of basic fault finding. So it's expensive, bits are hard to come by, and the chances are when you build it, it's not going to work. So why on earth would you want to do it? And why am I doing it? Well, have a look at this. This is a brand new reproduction motherboard of the Spectrum 3B, and it looks beautiful. It really does. I am envisaging this in a reproduction clear case, all new components on it, and I think that's going to look absolutely stunning, and it will sit alongside proudly with all my other Spectrums. And I do have quite a few. So there's no real practical reason as to why you would want to do this, other than a bit of self-satisfaction, and you're going to get yourself an amazing machine that's built just how you like it and should last for years to come. So if you're going to have a go at this, then one of the first things you're going to need to do is head over to the channel sponsor, PCB Way. And on their projects page, I will put a link in the description. You can download the files and have these boards made up for you. And then in a few days' time, they will be landing through your letterbox looking all beautiful, like what this one here is. It doesn't have to be red. They've got many other different colours you could choose from. But they don't just do PCBs, they also do 3D printing. like this case that they made up for me for my little Retrolium diagnostic card. And they also do CNC machining. So check them out, and a big thank you to the sponsor, PCB Way, for helping me make videos such as this for you. Check them out, link in the description. Tools-wise, it's not majorly demanding. Obviously, it's going to be soldering, so you need a decent soldering iron with preferably temperature adjustable feature on it, some solder, a nice anti-static brush to help clean up your soldering work. If you need a bit of rework, then you may need some desoldering braid, and you almost certainly need some flux, a bit of tape to stop the chips from moving around when you try to solder them in, or sockets if you're going to go down the socket version, and also some isopropyl alcohol, once again, to help give the motherboard a bit of a clean. And what I like to use as well is a PCB holder, so it makes it nice and easy to just put your component in through the top and then spin the board round and get your soldering done, nice and simple. So there's not much more than that, really. It's a basic soldering job. If you've not done soldering before, though, I would strongly advise you get a practice board or something off eBay. Somewhere you can have a bit of a practice without causing any upset to yourself if it does go horribly wrong. So I've decided to start with doing the resistors, because the resistors are nice and small. If you start off with the big stuff, like the sockets, relay and stuff, what I would suggest you'll find is that all tends to get in the way of your work. So I'm going to start with the resistors because A, they're small, and B, there's loads of them, and C, I don't have most of the components yet. So that is why I'm going to start with the resistors. I've already slotted a couple through the board. As you can see there, those are ready for soldering. So these are R61, 62, 64, 15 watt resistors. And I'm just going to use this to help bend the legs, hopefully relatively evenly. So that's relatively in the middle. You can get proper leg bending bits of plastic just to help you, but I'm a cheapskate, so this is that's what I use. I use a peg. So that's R64 going in. So once it's in, just bend the legs on the back, just so that it stays put, and then it's ready for soldering. So I already got my solder iron heated up, hopefully, and we shall just bob a little bit of flux. That's just going to help you get a nice good solder joint. And then we're ready for our first bit of soldering. just a case of then trimming the legs off and repeating for all the other ones. So the board's had a bit of a clean. These are all the resistors fitted that I've actually got. I knew I didn't have them all, but I just couldn't resist starting. And some of the values I just haven't got enough either. So I think the main resistor, the resistors of note, is the big chunky 1 watt that goes in R34, the 15 ohm resistor. I'll probably get one of those from Petroleum. I'll get that order placed shortly. And I've got a couple of values for these 5% tolerance resistors missing. All the resistors are fitted to 5% tolerance because that's all I've had in my little storage cupboard. So I will need to get the remaining missing 5% tolerance ones for the values that I don't have. Get a few more of the ones where I haven't had enough, and get the 1% tolerance ones. If you look on the build of materials, it says 2%, but if it's relying on accuracy, then 1% should do it. Because when I've looked online, I've seen predominantly 1% tolerance as opposed to 2%, so that's what I'm going to go with. Lucky on the back then, well, I'm never going to win any prizes for my soldering, am I? Let's be honest. It's a bit blobby in places. I might just slim some of these blobs down just to make them look a little bit better. And I don't think it helps using cheap solder either, but that's what I do, and it works. I just don't think it has that nice shiny look of probably some better quality ones. The only thing that I would suggest is, if you're copying along like me, is get your multimeter and go around and just check the values. Well, not the values so much as, I'll just show you what I mean. It's easier to show than talk. And just put it on continuity and just make sure you haven't got any shorts anywhere, especially where they're close together. A good set of eye magnifiers comes in very handy for doing this work. I would just go around and check the work that you've done, make sure you haven't got any shorts, because finding those shorts later on will be more problematic the more that goes on the board. So that is my bit of advice, what I would do if you're wanting to copy and follow me. Now, for those of you with OCD, I'm not sure whether I have it or not, but I do like things to look neat. I have tried to orientate everything in the same direction so the colours line up. And as much as I've tried lining everything up to all run down the middle, it's not perfect, but it's like that one. That's miles off, isn't it? So you might want to do something better than me, than use a peg. Spend more time and you get better results, don't you? But there you go. So apologies for anyone who I've stressed out by not getting anything nicely in a neat line as well. Well, that's the ground broken anyway, with quite a few of the resistors fitted. If you would like to help me with my costs, there are links in the description. It's massively appreciated. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing if you would like to see the follow-up videos to this. And other than that, I wish you well and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.